The PSA RK 5.7. If you're not familiar with the 5.7 by 28 round shooting out of a pistol, check out this review. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. VP Tactical here, and today we are talking about the PSA full-size 5.7 ROC RK1 optics ready model, and boy is this thing a blast to shoot. It is absolutely awesome, and I'm going to go more into those details here shortly. The reason why I got this particular pistol is because it's very affordable, right? PSA has done a phenomenal job of bringing different weapons, I guess if you will, to the market, or firearms, and just giving an absolute amazing price, a steal of a deal, I guess if you will. And I said I had got a chance to shoot an FN 5.7 years ago, and it was absolutely amazing, but you know, the $1,000, $1,200 price point had kind of kept me away for a while, in addition to the ammo. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But this thing is absolutely amazing. And before I dive in, we'll talk a little bit about this. If you like this content, definitely hit that like and subscribe button. I would certainly appreciate it. If you truly want to support my channel, that's the easiest way you can do it. And so talking a little bit about this, it is chambered in 5.7 by 28. And so what is it shooting? Essentially a small rifle cartridge, essentially is what it is. And then you look at this compared to a 9mm, which I have here. You can see there's an obvious difference not only in case length, but also in the diameter of the bullet size itself. And it's interesting is that from some of the things that I was reading with the 5.7 round, these can actually reach upwards of around 2,300 feet per second, whereas a typical 9mm, you're looking somewhere around maybe 1,200. But the interesting thing about that is that this actually carries, or can carry, depending on the grain of the bullet, similar energy as does the 9mm, somewhere in the 300s, give or take. But talking a little bit about the pistol here, just to give you a little bit of feedback on the round itself. And this is probably most commonly known from the P90, right? A lot of folks have seen that, especially in the movies, and some folks even own them. Love to own one, just don't have one in the stable yet. But this particular pistol, I picked up for somewhere around $360 in that neighborhood. And it is fully loaded for a factory pistol. Nothing changed. And it's pretty decent, really decent. Like I said, it's a really fun gun to shoot. It comes with a capacity of 23 rounds, and then that's factory, 23 plus 1. This is a full-size pistol, and so what we've got is a carbon steel barrel with a stainless steel finish, and it's fluted. And so a lot of that is going to give you some heat dissipation, but this one happens to also be threaded as well. So if you wanted to use your favorite suppressor on it, assuming it was rated for that particular cartridge, you certainly could. The barrel length on it, given that it is full length, is 5.2 inches, so a little bit longer barrel. 1 in 9 twist. The frame itself is poly. I like the grip on it. You know, PSA's grips, whether it was the Dagger, Micro Dagger, or even in this case the ROC, have always been very comfortable, in my opinion, and they just really, that hump kind of hones in on your hand contours, and it just feels right and natural in the hand. And what's interesting about this pistol too is that it is actually, for some of the folks who shoot left-handed, ambi, or the ability to change the magazine release to the opposite side. It does have a does feature a 1.5 by 28 thread pitch on it. The slide material is 416 stainless steel. You'll see a Mariglow co-witness sights on here, although these ones don't actually have any glowing or optic piece built into them, but these are suppressor height sights, so you notice the height on them. They're definitely much, much taller. The action is what they call a delayed blowback striker fired, and it is actually a tilting barrel. Mag catch, like I said, it is reversible. There is no safety besides what's built into the trigger here, and the factory trigger is actually really nice in comparison to, like I said, some of the double shoes, or not the double shoe, but the split shoe that they use on some of their other pistols. This one's actually pretty solid for a factory trigger. I don't really have any major desire to change it as of now. And it's got a decent reset right up against the wall again. Crisp, clean break. It's not bad. You know, it's certainly not an aftermarket trigger, but it's okay for what it's worth, for a factory trigger anyway. It does have an accessory rail, Picatinny. And then, like I said, with these are using steel magazines, which are 23 rounds. And something that was interesting that I noted about this, so those magazines could potentially fit in the Ruger 5.7. I know there's some other companies that have come out with the 5.7 pistols to try and compete in this market, because FN held it for the longest time. And one thing they note on that is they say that these magazines may not work or function. They can't guarantee the function inside of a Ruger 5.7. So that's something to be aware of. That being said, the only other thing I wanted to talk about was the sights. Apparently this will work with Glock compatible sights, according to PSA's website. However, they don't really talk about what specific sights. I don't know if it's related to the Glock 19, right, or the Dagger, or if it's related to the 17 or what. So there wasn't really a whole lot of detail on them. That's something that I'd still probably explore. If anybody else knows the answer, don't hesitate to drop that in the comments below. I'd certainly appreciate it. But I am curious, is this something that you would own? I've seen actually some folks apparently starting to carry these now. I mean, I imagine obviously it would be a little bit more difficult in the summertime, but obviously if you're carrying in the winter, that could be a potential suitor, right? And the fact that you're able to carry 23 rounds plus one in the chamber, that's pretty amazing, especially if you were going to use this for, EDC purposes. That being said, talking a little bit about the shooting, from this shooting footage that you'll see throughout this video, it shoots absolutely flat. And I would anticipate that and expect that from a gun that's full size, right? Because you have more weight to it typically. And this one, I believe, weight with the empty magazines coming in right around about 25 ounces. So it just shoots absolutely flat. It's a fun gun to shoot. And and it's interesting too, you see those huge fireballs coming off of it. So it does. So it does make a bit of noise, something to be aware of. But all in all, I think PSA knocked it out of the park with this particular pistol. Like I said, there's nothing that I don't like on it that I would want to change right away. I do like the fact that this one is optics ready, so it has that cutout already built in. So chances are I'd probably throw an optic on this at some point, but even just with the factory irons, it's, like I said, just a blast to shoot. And yeah, I mean, it certainly is a tack driver too. I took it out to a number of different distances, and like I said, it's pretty much spot on, even like I said with the factory irons. And I was shooting some pretty decent groups with this thing through and through. But yeah, I mean, these things range, if you pick up some of the BLEM models, they can get anywhere from, I've seen as low as $200 for just a basic model with no threaded barrel, no optics ready, to ones that have the threaded barrel and the optics ready for right around $360. Whereas if you were to buy it new, quote unquote, right, non-blemish, you're probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about $550, $600. You might be able to save $50 to $100 if you buy the upper and lower and then assemble them yourselves, like a lot of folks do with the micro daggers and the daggers, or dagger micros. But that being said, I mean, there's definitely a really good value when you pick up one that's in the blemished category, so to speak. And I've looked this thing over. I haven't seen a single blem on it. Did read somewhere online that somebody was talking about, PSA may be pushing some products out if they've got like a small, tiny little nick on it and marking it as blemished. But like I said, all in all, PSA really knocked it out of the park on this one. Like I said, amazing gun to shoot. It's just a lot of fun. The only downfall to it, which, arguably these days, ammo prices, they've come down a bit from where they were, but they're still not incredibly cheap, or at least what I would consider cheap in comparison to what they were. But these 5.7 rounds, definitely aren't cheap, to say the least, in comparison to 9mm. So that might be the only thing that might be prohibitive, is the ammunition to feed it, right? Box like this one that I had purchased from Fiocchi, this was 150 rounds, and I think it ran me right around about 75 or 80 bucks by the time it was shipped to my door. And so just to kind of give you an idea of the cost of the ammo, which, again, not terrible. Like I said, it's an absolute blast to shoot. And one thing I did want to note, too, when you get the blems, you do only get one magazine. Whereas when you buy the non-blemish models, you actually get 3 magazines with it. So mine still came with the carrying case, the lock, and all of that other stuff, the chamber flag, and 1 magazine in the pistol itself. But if you buy the non-blemish model, then you're going to get the magazines. And again, you're going to get 3 of them in total versus just 1. Now, that being said, if you look at the price of those magazines, they're somewhere around, I think, 25, 30 bucks a piece. You know, even if you bought one of the blemish models plus 2 additional magazines, you're still under the price of a non-blemish model, and you save yourself a couple pennies, right? Well, being sarcastic, but you get the idea. At any rate, that's my thoughts and take on the PSA RK 5.7. Like I said, they absolutely killed it with this pistol. I think it is at a phenomenal price, especially if you could pick up one like this. I watch those daily deals that come in my email, and that's usually where I find stuff like this and snag up these good deals. Sometimes it's just too good to pass up. So I'm sure other folks are in the same boat. But yeah, drop your thoughts and comments. You know, is this something that you would carry? Maybe just have for a range toy? Let me know. You know, I'm curious. Throw some comments down below. Again, appreciate all the love and support. If you like this content, like I said, hit that like and subscribe button. It certainly helps my channel, keeps us growing. That way I can bring more content to you folks and review some different guns. So stay tuned for more fun things to come, and hope you folks are having a great summer so far, and happy belated 4th. I know I made a post out there, but if you hadn't heard from me, definitely want to say happy Independence Day, and hopefully you folks were safe and had a great time with some friends and family. Be safe, stay vigilant, and we'll see you soon.